Hello, CEP 200 students, and welcome to the summer 2019 session of Intro to the Counseling Professions. So again, I know that I had mentioned this in the announcements post, but I do want to apologize. This video is about a day late. Usually I post it the week before, but there was some confusion in the department on whether or not this course was actually going to be offered, just because we hadn't exactly reached the maximum capacity. But like I had mentioned, fortunately we are here and we will be spending the next few weeks together. So the purpose of this video, what I am going to do is I'm going to go through the syllabus and basically just talk about some main points such as the grading system, what the assignments are going to look like, what the expectations are for the course. And then after that, I am going to go through the tracking calendar a little bit and just discuss some things there. So just to get started, what are we going to learn in this course? So it's usually around the first or the second discussion board post that I noticed that students actually hadn't watched the welcome video, just because of what they indicate on what they would like to learn from this course. So I do like to be very upfront with students and let them know that during this course, we are not going to learn about counseling techniques, modalities, anything like that, ways to work with clients and that kind of stuff. So that is more for Intro to Counseling. And that is for CEP 401 if that is a course that you have interest in taking in the future. So what are we going to learn in this class? So we're going to learn about what is counseling, what is a counselor, what different settings do these counselors work in, what are their typical duties, what are different strategies as far as approaches to counseling, and what are the credentials necessary to be a counselor. And the way that I have designed this course is that you will find a lot of TED Talks and a lot of supplemental readings in the unit folders. And the reason why I have this extra material is really to just give you an idea of what you could expect being in the counseling profession that we're talking about during that unit. And so students do mention that sometimes the supplemental readings are a little long or they're boring, but this is why you have a relatively small textbook. The textbook hits on everything that you're really going to need to know as far as basics such as salaries, what the duties are, and all that kind of thing. And the supplemental materials are there to show you and just to kind of open your eyes of what a counselor typically experiences. We will talk about adverse childhood experiences. We will talk about homelessness. We will talk about just different clients or situations that a counselor might encounter when they're working with a client. And so I did that just to add substance, really, and to give you a better idea of what you could expect in the counseling profession. So although we're not going to talk about ways to treat clients and how to interact with clients, you will be exposed to different things that you might encounter in the counseling profession. So moving right along, I'm just scrolling. I am on page 5 of the syllabus now. And this is typically the part of the syllabus that most students are drawn to because this talks about course assignments and grading policy. If you have any friends who might have taken this course in the winter of 2019 or in the spring of 2019, they probably mentioned that it can be kind of heavy at times. And this course was redesigned completely in the winter of 2019. It took about a year for me to redesign and to really think about what I wanted students to get out of the course and the different things that I really wanted to talk about and really to what kind of situations to approach and whatnot. And it's been a learning experience, I can say. What I do is I take feedback from students very, very seriously, as I am here to be assistance to you for you to be successful as opposed to trying to make things harder for students. So what I did is I kind of restructured the syllabus a little bit to make it a little bit different than what it has been in the past. So if you take a look at the grading policy that is on page 5, you will see that there are going to be 5 unit assignments, 5 discussion boards, 3 quizzes, 2 papers or projects, and 1 cumulative assignment. So you can see here what % of your grade each accounts for, as well as the possible points for each one of those. So I'll go through briefly and describe each of these quickly. So for the unit assignments, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you are reading all of the assigned material and watching all of the videos for that assigned unit. And you should be able to find all of those right in the unit folder for you. And the unit assignment is really an opportunity for students to not only talk about and display the fact that they completed the material and that they understood it, but also a way for you to really express yourself and get your wheels turning in your head, and really show that you're not only reading the material, but you're also processing it and understanding it. So my biggest thing, or my biggest piece of advice for students in this course, is that you really expand on your responses in the unit assignments. Given that this is an online course, although we do have discussion board posts, the absence of the dialogue in the classroom is really prevalent here. And so what I do want to do is really encourage you to use the space and the time in your unit assignments to really show that you are understanding the material. So again, please really expand here. So if you're giving me, 2 or 3 sentences per response, you're not going to get full credit. But if you are really taking the time and providing a response that shows that you're reflecting on the material and that you really understand it, then you're more likely going to get full credit for that. So for the discussion board, there are also 5 of these. So the key with the discussion board posts is that you really want to also reflect and share your opinions and your dialogue here in these as well. And the thing about the discussion board posts is that you are also required to comment on 2 of your classmates' posts. So that means 2 separate classmates, at least 1 post. So if you go on one classmate's and you make a post and then you make another post later on, that will not count. I do need you to comment on 2 different classmates. And the purpose for this is really trying to make up for that absence of discussion and dialogue in the classroom. And what I do ask from this is that you really take the time to reflect on what they're saying. So I know it's very easy to say, oh yes, I agree with what you're saying, or I disagree with what you're saying, but really expand on why, or really tell them, if you're going to make a response and saying, I really liked what you said here, really expand on it and let them know why you like what they said and what it was about what they said that really resonated with you. So again, things that I really look for in this course is detail and thoroughness. So if you can, really do both of those things, you should be in some pretty good shape. So going down a little bit, there will be 3 quizzes. So students have expressed that they've had some difficulty with the quizzes, but I do want to assure you that if you're reading the material thoroughly, you really shouldn't have a problem with these. The way that I design these quizzes is that the questions are essentially verbatim from the material. So you should be able to find things relatively easy. They are not timed, although you do only have 1 attempt. So my recommendation for the quizzes is that you really set some time aside and give yourself the opportunity to not only go through the material, maybe skim it once more, but also give yourself some time to find the answers. And the reason why there is only 1 attempt is this will eliminate the possibility for students to be sharing answers with one another. So for papers and projects, so this is primarily where the course really changed from previous semesters. So students used to actually have 4 projects that they had to complete. They had the resource list of professionals as well as the interviewing professional assignments that I'm going to go over for you in just a moment. But they also had to write an 8-page paper and then also do a presentation. And what I found was that this was very heavy starting at spring break until the end of semester. So I really wanted to alleviate that pressure not only on the students but also on myself, because grading that many papers can be very stressful. Especially with the deadlines that I give myself. So for your 2 projects, the first is going to be the resource list of professionals. You can actually find the template for this in the papers or projects section of UB Learns, and this will just basically give you everything that you need to fill in for this project. This is basically just going through each of the counseling professions that we are going to talk about in this semester, or learn about rather. And it gives you the opportunity to locate some of them that are either in your area at home, or if they are in the Buffalo area. And the purpose for this is kind of to just go into the final project. You are expected to interview with a counseling professional of your choice. So what I do is the resource list of professionals is meant to kind of be a starting point of really pinpointing professionals in each of the different counseling professions that we talk about, so that you have options if you want to contact one of those professionals to interview them for your final project. What we do that is going to be particularly helpful to the other students in the class is that we share this list in the discussion board so that everyone in the class can actually utilize them as a resource. So I will do the grading right in the discussion board post and everything for you, but by the end of Unit 3, when this is due, we are going to have 22 different resource lists that students can go through and open to see if the student had located professionals in their area, if they find that they're having difficulty. So, like I had mentioned, your final project is going to be interviewing a professional in the counseling profession of your choice. And all the information for that is also located in the papers and projects section in UB Learns. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as that approaches as well. So just kind of going along here, I am pretty much available via email every single day. I check my emails multiple times a day. So be sure if you're sending me an email, just include the course number in the description, or the subject line rather. And then sign your first and last name at the end of every email, just so that I know who you are. So I think those are the main points from the syllabus. So jumping on over to the tracking calendar. I am I try to be very organized, so I hope that you find that this course is very easy to navigate. Every unit is split up by unit, and we will do 1 unit per week. So if you're looking at the tracking calendar and you see the unit column all the way to the left, you will see week 1 begins on May 28th and ends on June 2nd. And June 2nd should be a Sunday. So let me just double check this to make sure everything lines up. Yeah, so your assignments are due every Sunday. So the last day that is listed on that unit is the due date. So all assignments must be into me by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday night. And then what I like to do is I like to give myself until the next unit to grade all the assignments. So it shouldn't be a problem now. Usually I teach about 70 students per semester, but just for the summer section, I'm only teaching 1 section. So I believe there's about 22 people registered for this course. And so I should have every assignment graded and returned to you by 11:59 that following Sunday. So taking a look here, I tried to make things relatively easy. Every unit, when there is a discussion board post due, I like to have the questions there for you. You can also find them in the discussion board area. I also list the questions there. But generally, you can pretty much count on every week there being a unit assignment due. And then alternating weeks, mostly. So you have a discussion board post due almost every week. And then on the weeks that you do not have a discussion board post, you also have a quiz. So for Unit 1, you will find that you do have a discussion board and a unit post, or quiz 1 due. But yeah, I have made this into an easy, checkbox form. There's a little box next to each of the tasks under assignments for you to easily check off once you've completed those. Like I had mentioned before, there's a plethora of TED Talks and supplemental readings, and this is just to, really broaden the perspective of the counseling profession and, research that has been done. Given that we are a university, I do really like to introduce students to research articles early on. And even if you find that you don't really understand the results section, it's okay to skip over it. I know that when I had no idea what research was, I would read the introduction and then the discussion piece, because that's really where it explains the results. And it talks about, the findings, what the limitations might have been, and then also there's the conclusion. So if you find that you have any questions at all about anything, please feel free to reach out to me by email. I do not hold office hours. on site at this point in time, but I generally am very easy to access and schedule an appointment with if we wanted to do a video session for supervision or consultation rather. But yeah, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and let me know. I do plan to do one of these videos each week just to give you the expectations for that week and you know what really to expect out of the upcoming unit. So if you haven't already, please review the syllabus as well as the tracking calendar. Watch this welcome video. Read chapter 1 and then also complete discussion board 1. And I did see a lot of students got a head start on that, so that's really great to see. And then for unit 1, I will go ahead and talk about this now since it's due on Sunday. So you're also going to read chapter 2. You are going to read the ACA Code of Ethics, which you can find in the unit folder. Watch Brene Brown's YouTube video on the power of vulnerability. And I do want to mention Brene Brown is absolutely genius. She is finally starting to really get the popularity now, although she's been doing incredible research and TED Talks for a very long time. And if you do find that Brene Brown, you know, touches you or resonates with you, she does actually have a new Netflix special that you should be able to find relatively easy. And then as far as assignments, you're going to submit the Unit 1 assignment, complete discussion board number 2, and then quiz number 1. So all of this will be due by Sunday. So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, and I am looking forward to working with you this semester. All right, everyone, take care.